10 months ago, last March, I first started on my game Nodosis. And a little over 2 months ago, or last October, I decided to remake the entire game. And now, just recently, I've released the demo of the newly revamped Nodosis onto Steam. And today, I'd like to not only discuss my development on Nodosis, but also my process of slowly releasing the game. Initially, my inspiration for Nodosis was Balatro, except instead of using cards and poker hands, you use tic-tac-toe tiles and rings. However, I have a secret. It was only about halfway into the development of Nodosis had I ever actually downloaded and played Balatro on my Xbox. Looking back on this now, this was silly and bad practice. I don't know about you, but it should be common knowledge to play the games that inspire you before you try and make a game inspired by them. In my case, I thought Balatro was so cool and interesting that it'd be worth trying to make a game inspired by it. Now, I did watch a ton of YouTube videos on the game, and I knew what everything in the game did, but that doesn't count. Like I said, I did eventually play Balatro for myself, but not until after I was halfway through making Nodosis. And because of that, many of my initial design decisions put into the original Nodosis were kind of bad. There wasn't one thing that made Nodosis bad, it was mostly an accumulation of small bad things that added up. I did a whole video discussing this. So, after having realized the problems with my game, I found myself stuck. I didn't like the Nodosis that I had at all, and if I didn't like it, who else would? So ultimately, I decided to remake the entire game and fix all its flaws, or at least try to. I redesigned the code of Nodosis to more easily manage large amounts of tiles, rings, and effects. I redesigned the user interface to not only be more consistent, but also feel better to click and interact with. I added 2 new tile types and 16 new rings to the game. And lastly, I remade how the map worked. As in the previous version of the game, the map was too long and had options for only easy and hard battles. So I changed the map around in this newer version so that you can play easy, medium, or hard battles, as well as a special one-time offer of an upgrader that rests in the middle of the map branch, making the map kind of look like an eye. I also shortened the length of every run, as previously the game took too long to play through. So after about 2 months of non-stop work, I managed to remake the entirety of the game and redesign and improve it. I uploaded the new build of the game to itch.io, and I waited for a response. Sadly, the newer Nodosis had about the same reaction as the older Nodosis that I had uploaded to itch.io. I did have a few friends go out of their way to try out the newer version, but other than that, nobody really cared. I'll go in depth into this later. After having received a lukewarm reaction, I worked on uploading the Steam demo. And, well, apparently uploading a demo to Steam is way more difficult and complicated than to itch. For starters, I ended up getting myself confused with the Steam Pipe system. From what I know, Steam Pipe is a system that was specifically designed for developers like me to upload to Steam. However, this system is kind of old and outdated, and the specific Steam Pipe section in Steamworks is hidden somewhere. I did eventually find it, but not until after I combed through tons of YouTube tutorials and ultimately ended up asking another developer on Discord for help. I then found this one tutorial, this singular tutorial that solved all my problems that I was having. It's a great video to check out if anybody watching is planning to upload to Steam themselves. Link in the description for that. Afterwards, I finally got a build of the game uploaded to Steam's servers. I then crafted the entire separate demo page and then submitted it to approval for Steam, which took about 3 days. I completely understand why uploading to Steam has to be more complicated and careful than compared to itch.io, but as somebody who has only a slight idea of what they were doing, I did end up making myself mad with this one, because I really didn't want to have to contact Steam support over something that was probably really simple. And it turns out the solution to my problems was actually quite simple, as I was just in the wrong tab the whole time. And yeah, after that I had not only uploaded onto itch.io, but also onto Steam itself. And from what I've heard, not many developers actually managed to upload their demos onto Steam. Although pretty much every professional developer that has ever worked with Steam has had a demo available somewhere on their platform. But what does this mean? It means I'm now one step closer to becoming a professional game developer. So let me just check that off my list. There's one problem, however. Remember back when I had said Nodosis had a lukewarm reaction? Well, turns out the future of Nodosis will probably be a short one, as it seems not many people are interested in it. So I have a plan. First off, in this great new year of 2026, I'd like to make more games rather than just one. That loop loader game I made for the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam last year continues to get 10 times the amount of reaction on itch.io than Nodosis had ever had. So for the future, I'll probably be making incremental games, similar to that of loop loader. That's great because I love incrementals and I would be glad to make more. And on top of that, this coming February, Steam will be holding their first Next Best of the year. So I plan on hosting Nodosis there for one last reaction just before release. So for 2026, I'll probably be releasing Nodosis this March, about a week after the Next Best, so that I'll finally begin to see some sales numbers on the game, and after that I'll be making incrementals. And who knows, maybe I'll make one that's really good and I'll go through this whole process of uploading to Steam all over again. However, last year I did end up pushing myself kind of hard, and my health has paid for it. So for 2026, I'll also be taking things a little bit slower than in 2025, so work will be slower this year, and I might only upload a video every 2 months from now on. That or the videos will be shorter. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.